Hey, all, and welcome to this week's episode of the Mike Muldoon podcast. Again, thanks for joining me here from cloudy, rainy England, probably what most people expect when they think about England, but we've had some pretty good weather lately in terms of it not being super hot. I wouldn't say the sun has been around very much, but, the weather's been nice, cool, considering when we left North Carolina, it was about 100 degrees. So, it's crazy still, kind of chaotic, but if you've been listening to my podcast, you know I'm somebody who says, life's about living. It's not just about existing. I don't come to you from somebody who's already, sitting at the mountaintop and telling you how you get there. I'm on my own journey as well. I often take about taking risks to improve your life, to improve your situations. Again, that could be a chaotic thing, but I'm somebody who lives it. So, if you need the motivation or find somebody who's willing to do it with you, just follow on my podcast because you'll see that I'm always willing to, improve things, get things better, even if they're going to make me a little bit uncomfortable, and even if it might be a little challenging. So again, just thanks for tuning in. But listen, today I want to talk about, this is really wild where this one came from, but I want to talk about, I really want us to appreciate one of nature's most underrated life coaches, so to speak, because I've been observing these things all week, and it's the crow. Yes, you heard me right. The crow. Now, before you scoff and wonder, why I've been spending too much time watching, these birds, or if, I get sucked in some bird documentaries, just hear me out, because these black feathered geniuses might just have the secret sauce for some of you to have a less stressful, less medicated, and perhaps even a less angry society. So how this came about is when we first, we're in a rental for the first couple of weeks while we're settling up our housing in the U.S. and as well as here in England. And we're on this beautiful countryside, and my wife and I are getting woken up in the middle of the night, and you hear these loud noise, and they're like pecking at the glass. And because the house that we're in kind of has this all glass view up these rolling green hills, and we go out and it's these crows, and it happened for a few days. And we figured out why. I think they were seeing their reflection in the glass, so we had to cover. But anyway, it was pretty wild, and it was pretty weird too to come out and see these crows sort of in our little courtyard that kind of, again, opens up into this mountainside. If you've been looking at it in my Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about with the beast, the hill you go up. And anyway, these crows would be there, and then they'd see us and take it off. Now, I know when people think about crows, they're, pretty well aware of the fact that most people associate crows with death. But really they represent change and transformation. So, and if you've been listening to, again, with my podcast, especially over the last few years, since my last year, basically, since my father's, passing, working for a startup that had a chance to soar, but utterly crashed and burned, just trying to, it's been a tough year of transformation and I guess I could say growth. And again, then even our relocation to England here hasn't been the simplest. And again, this is my third move across the Atlantic. But anyway, hear me out here. So just imagine this world where instead of binge watching self-help videos, we just looked out our windows and took notes from our local crow population, so to speak, because realistically, the animal world could teach us so much. I mean, if you need to problem solve, hey, what would that crow do? If you're feeling overwhelmed by change, channel your inner crow and adapt like a pro. If you're ready to build a stronger community, take a page from the crow, as we're about to talk about. So listen, let's just put down our smartphones for a second, unless, of course, you're listening to my podcast on it right now. Stop doom scrolling, because there's going to be a lot of that right now. Because if you've seen one thing on Instagram, if you understand how these algorithms work, it is going to give you more. It's why my feed is filled with crocodiles, sharks, and snakes. So please stop the doom scrolling, right? And just, start crow scrolling, I guess, figuratively speaking here, because today we're going to dive into the incredible traits of the crow and see how following their lead could really transform your life, from a chaotic mess to a harmonious, well-oiled machine, or at least the very least, make us less cranky on a Monday morning. Sometimes inspiration, it really just comes from unexpected places. I'm a one-man podcast show. I don't have a team. I'm closing in on 100 episodes. That means I've had to figure about 100 topics to actually think about. So again, it's just crazy that inspiration and these crows just happened to come to me this week. But I do believe things come to you if you need them. So, but listen, so again, the crow is a bird that's often associated with mystery and intelligence. Yes, we talked about death, but believe it or not, a lot of it's mystery and intelligence. And despite their dark reputation, crows possess remarkable abilities and traits that really can offer profound insights into our own lives. So I want to really explore the behavior and characteristics of crows so you can see, so perhaps they can inspire you, all of us, to navigate life's challenges and opportunities more with grace and intelligence instead of fear and anxiety. Because the thing about it, crows are renowned for their intelligence. I mean, they use tools, they solve complex problems. They have impressive memories. There was an experiment I was reading about where there was a crow named Betty bent a wire into a hook to figure out a way to relieve food from a tube. I mean, this level of problem solving can remind us that there is always a solution to be found, even in the most challenging situations. So if you're faced with an obstacle, instead of giving up, we can channel our inner crow and approach the problem from different angles. Use creativity and resourcefulness to kind of find a way forward, to understand that there's probably is a way to do it. You're just so blocked, and considering that it only has to be done one way. For that crow, it might have been just banging around at the bottle, but it wasn't. It was about finding this hook and this wire, bending it and getting in there and getting its food for itself. So it's an opportunity to grow right there. Just understanding that sometimes you're not stuck. You just might be blocked. And you got to think about it. I always just say, get outside the box. You can't figure it out from inside the box. You got to get outside the box. The thing too about crows, they're adaptable. They're highly adaptable. I mean, they thrive in diverse environments from rural areas to bustling cities. I mean, the adaptability is a key trait when we emulate in our own lives, right? Change is inevitable. Things are going to change in our lives, and the ability to adapt to new circumstances is really crucial for personal growth and success. So you have to embrace change. Like I said, I've had a lot of change over the last year, a lot of it. I had somebody talking to me the other day, said, I don't know how you deal with it. I don't know how you can deal with it because their lives are so structured one way. I mean, how do you deal with, you left a very well-paying job only to find your dad sick and passing away, to taking a chance on a startup, to making this move. But the thing is, I pride myself on, embracing change. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'm good at change all the time. I mean, I have my freakouts as well. Like I said, I don't come to you from someone who's got it all figured out. I'm all perfect. Let me just tell you what you're doing. I have my own challenges. Sometimes, I have a little freak out too. But the thing is, the more I've done it, it's made my life a little bit easier navigating these kind of ups and downs a little bit more effectively, where my freakouts aren't as bad as they used to be. But it's important. Change is inevitable. There's no way, nothing in your life is never going to happen that's not going to force you into some sort of change. Crows are also known for their strong social bonds and the cooperative behavior. They live in close-knit communities. They work together to achieve goals. Just watch them work. It's kind of interesting. And the sense of community, this teamwork, is really essential to our own well-being in our lives, right? Building and maintaining strong relationships, whether they're personal, professional relationships, it can really provide us with the support, encouragement that we need to thrive. As I've often talked about in the past, you got to surround yourself with the right people, surround yourself with the right organization, if you're going to be part of one, because they're either going to help make you or they're going to help break you, or at least limit you. I won't say break you because I think you can do it by yourself, but they're going to maybe a little bit harder from you. And if you're not somebody who knows how to kind of, as you go back and look at one of my early episodes, moving from lamb to lion, if you can't get to lion stage, then it might really impact your lives. But it's really important that you build and maintain strong relationships in your life, personal, professional, and real relationships. Not what can I get from this person relationship, a real relationship, a real friendship. And that's one thing when I look at my own life is I feel very blessed. So I know a lot of my friends listen to the podcast. I know some of them don't, but I feel very blessed in my life that I have just real relationships. They're not based on any need or any other desire, except that we're friends. And I feel like I've got that sometimes in my professional life as well with other people. So it's important. The other thing is crows have sophisticated system of communication. They use a variety of calls. They convey different messages. And I'm telling you, at 4:00 in the morning, you hear them. And they're even capable of mimicking human speech, which is a little freaky. And I'm glad that didn't happen because that would have been really weird being out in this place kind of in the middle of the nowhere and having a couple of crows talking to me. But the thing is, in life with us, right, effective communication, it's the cornerstone of successful relationships and endeavors. And if we improve our communication skills, we can better express our needs, understand others, and resolve conflicts more efficiently. And to me, a lot of that is also working on yourself. I think you become a better communicator when you spend more time working on yourself, and maybe you don't take things as personal, right? You don't internalize things in such a way that it hinders your communication. So I do think working on yourself and working on your communication skills is going to go a long way. Also, it's going to take a lot of these challenges you might have, or, confrontations or small fires sort of in your life, and kind of put them together or mitigate them, or even just put the fire out quickly if you can learn to communicate more effectively with people. The other thing too with crows is they show an amazing amount of resilience and perseverance. And I talk about this all the time. Building resilience will really improve your lives because, like we said earlier, things change. And the more you can deal with change, the better you're going to be. I mean, crows, they endure the harshest conditions and they continue to thrive. Like I said, because they can live in all different types of environments. And I guess this resilience, it's a powerful reminder of the importance of us persevering in our own lives, right? See, because again, when we encounter setbacks or face difficult times, it's crucial to stay resilient and keep pushing forward. As I said, on my journey over the last year, I've had many of setbacks. Many of things that may have sent, like I said, how do you deal with it? Maybe people would have cowered, but I can't. I just got to keep pushing forward because in my past and in my life, going all the way back when my first love was football, I was going to college. I didn't know what for, but I knew I wanted to go play football because I loved it. And after my freshman year in college, I've talked about this before, coming home from a workout, got took out by a car, taken right out on a highway. Luckily, I landed in grass, but I almost lost my hand and had some other injuries, and it kept me out for a year. And people said, "Oh, you can't play again. You can't play." And I was so determined to play that I fought back, and even against some limitations that still affect me today with limited movement in one of my hands, I was able to come on and be a pretty successful player. And going all the way back to that, it kind of has been one of the small building blocks that I've been building on my whole life. Then anytime I hit some sort of setback, I just can kind of fall back on these blocks, right? Because, I've done it before. And after a while, you get to so many of these, I've done it before, that it gets a little bit easier. This is something that I think it's really interesting. They talk about this with crows, but I just think this is in life. Crows are naturally curious, and they constantly explore their surroundings. And this curiosity really does drive their learnings and their problem solving abilities, right? Because if you're just sitting around doing nothing, you're not learning, you're not growing, you're not learning new things or new ways to get things done or new ways to be an effective communicator, whatever it is. You have to embrace a mindset of lifelong learning that can open up these new opportunities and keep our mind sharp. If you're not doing that, if you're not interested, I'm not saying you have to be a world explorer, but you should look to keep learning, because you're never gonna know what might open your whole world up by something just coming across going, "Oh, that's really interesting." That might send you down a rabbit hole to something that's amazing. That might just change the course of your life. But just staying stagnant, I think stagnant, I don't even know what the plural would on that would be. Gosh, I'm still a little jet lagged, believe it or not. But I just think people who stay stagnant, I think it not only affects your life, but I think it also, if I had to say it, I haven't done the research, and you know what, maybe I'll have to do the research. I think it affects the longevity of your life, because eventually, if you're not using your brain, if you're not using, your curiosity, if you're not keeping yourself active, I think you're just basically waiting to die at that point. So I would say, make sure that you're out there and you're being curious about your surroundings and constantly explore the world, open yourself up, read a book, stop binge watching everything on Netflix. Don't get me wrong. I do it. There's some great shows. I love it. But I do try to keep my mind open to other things and try to learn and grow. And as you can see, I kind of constantly put myself in situations where I'm going to have to keep growing and exploring and learning new things, because it's crazy. So the thing is, we just got to start, if you could take anything from this, you just got to start incorporating some of these crow-inspired traits into your life. Again, like I said, problem solving. When you're faced with those challenges, figure out, brainstorm multiple solutions. Don't be afraid to get outside the box and try unconventional methods. Just think about Thomas Edison, right? What did they say about Thomas Edison? He said, I didn't fail at 99 ways to invent the light bulb. I just discovered 99 ways how not to do it. So make sure you get out there. Make sure you're, constantly trying to, if you find yourself stuck, get outside that box, look for solutions. And every time you find the wrong way to do it, it's not really the wrong way to do it. You just found another way not to do it. All right. You've learned from that experience. And that's what Thomas Edison was really saying. I learned 99 different experiences from there. So again, adaptability, embrace change. It's coming, whether you want it or not, and view these situations as opportunities to grow. Invest time in building your strong relationships, not superficial ones, as I talked about. Offer to help others, be open to receiving support when needed, and put good people in your life. Don't let people treat you like okay? Don't let people do that. Whether it's family or friends or whatever, sometimes it's the hardest people in the world to cut off. But a lot of times, these people are the ones who are going to help you sort of soar or crash and burn, okay? Find strong relationships, real relationships based on just a real bond of friendship, not what I can get from you, what they're getting from me. Find that, okay? Work on your listening skills. And I got to be honest with you, sometimes I have to. Sometimes I get so wound up in my head, but I try to remind myself, because being a little self-aware here, listen and really listen. Don't listen with your phone in your hand. Yeah, no, I hear you. Oh my God, that's great. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's horrible. Put your phone down and listen with all your being, right? Listen with your eyes, listen with your ears, right? When you pay attention, people look at their body language, Just practice that clear and honest communication. And that's a lot of times all people really want to hear. If you really want to do something amazing for people want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. See me. See what I'm saying. Really, really see me, okay? Hear what I'm saying. Understand what I'm doing here and acknowledge whatever they're saying. Because most people, we live in a world that does not happen. Most people are sitting and watching their communicate. Yep, scrolling. Yeah, oh my God, that's crazy. Yep, scrolling to their phone, hanging. Yeah, no. Give people that. Show them that the phone is not more important than them. Put it away. Put it in your pocket, okay? And when you encounter setbacks in your life, remind yourself of the past challenges you've overcome. Like I said, going back to my motorcycle accident and everything since then, okay? And use these experiences as fuel to keep moving forward, because you've done it once. I've done it twice. I've done it 3, 4, 5, 6, 15 times. You get to that 90th time and you're like, well, I keep doing it. So, and make a habit of learning something new. It says make a habit, people say make a habit of learning something new every day. Oh, that would be great. But, just make a habit of learning something new, even if it's once a week, take a reading, a new hobby, look at different perspectives. How great would that be? Stop getting all your news from social media, because like I said, anyway, it caters the news you want to it. That's why when two people can argue, how do you not see this? The other person goes, well, how do you not see this? It's because both your attentions are on something on social media that is different. And through to the algorithm, social media is giving you both. So one is hate Trump, one is hate Biden, one is hate this governor, one is hate this governor. And you both think your points are correct because of where you're getting your news from. But I would say, whatever your point is, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make this political, but what I'm saying, no matter what it is, maybe it's even a work thing, try to explore it just for a second from a different perspective. Most things in life can easily be solved if you took an opportunity to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Now, you can't technically walk in somebody else's shoes, and I did a podcast on this earlier, because you'll never fully understand how they were embodied from the day they were born to now and how they were sort of programmed. But at least take an opportunity and just go, well, let's see why this is, right? So please observe the crows if you have to, or at least next time you see one after you've heard this podcast, you go, oh, that's what he's talking about. Because look, I don't think it's just crows. I think animals in general, in nature, we can just gain valuable insights into how to lead more fulfilling and resilient lives. All right. Like I said, with these birds, they're pretty intelligent, and they remind us that with the right mindset and approach, we can navigate life's complexities with grace and intelligence instead of fear, anxiety, and anger. So the next time you see a crow, just, take a moment to appreciate the wisdom that they embody and consider how you can apply these lessons to your own journey. Oh, I know this is a long one today, and I appreciate you being with me. As always, we're closing in on 100. I thank you for your support. As always, you can always find me at MikeMuldoonLC.com. You can always email me at MikeMuldoon@MikeMuldoonLC.com. If you just got anything to share, that'd be great. Please share a podcast with your friends, your family. Like I said, I've committed most podcasts. I've talked about this. They stop at 7. Most people get in a podcast. The average length of a podcast lasts is 7. And on top of everything I've been through over the last couple of years, I've committed to you weekly. Like I said in the beginning, if I'm just changing one person's life, then that's all that really matters to me. But, there's people out there. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of fear, anger, anxiety in the world. People scared to make change. People want to make change. And, maybe you just share my podcast with them and, just find the ones that work for them. Maybe not tuning in every week, but I think at this point I've touched on enough places to at least help some people maybe make a little impactful change in their lives. But anyway, I appreciate you being with me. I know I'm a little bit late again today on this time zone thing. Whew, it's getting me. Even though I lived here years ago, I'm just getting reacclimated. As always, thank you for your time. It's 4th of July weekend back in the U.S. So do me a favor, be safe, have fun, and as always, I got nothing but love for you.